Today on Playmakers, Kansas soccer isn't done yet. The defending Big 12 champs are headed back to the title game, and we have everything on their quest to repeat. Game 7 of the World Series delivered yet another thriller. We have the recap on how the Dodgers took home the title once again. And fantasy football is heating up. We break down the latest picks, strategies, and weekly upsets. I'm Emily Sutter, your host for today, and welcome back to Playmakers. Breaking news announced just yesterday, junior golfer Lila Louderbaugh has earned Player of the Year from the Missouri Golf Association. This is the second consecutive year Louderbaugh has earned the honor. The Jayhawks are on the road tonight for a tough test against North Carolina. Working for you, we'll have live coverage of the entire matchup. Right now, we welcome Playmakers Ulicia Parker, who joins us live at Chapel Hill ahead of tip-off with more on what to expect. Ulicia, how is North Carolina treating you?
Thanks, Emily. I'm here in North Carolina in front of Dean Smith Center, where in just a few hours, our Jayhawks will take on UNC in a battle of the Blue Bloods. Right now, KU has the upper hand with a 7-6 winning record against the Tar Heels, but it's barely on an edge there, and they risk tying up that record tonight. This is not just a historical matchup. This is also KU's first conference game against another ranked team. North Carolina is ranked number 25 in the AP Top 25 poll, with new additions like junior guard Kyan Evans and recently cleared Luka Borkovac. It has only added to the program's success on offense and improved ball movement. Regardless, this will be a good college game across the border, with both programs adding new faces to the roster. Be sure to tune into the game on ESPN at 6 o'clock and follow at Playmakers KU on Instagram and X for live game day coverage. But speaking of basketball, Emily, I heard one of our Playmakers has the inside scoop of KU's first regular season game this week.
We sure do, Ulicia. Thank you. Kansas opened the year with another strong performance inside Allen Fieldhouse, and it marked their 53rd straight home opening win. That's number 23 under head coach Bill Self. Playmakers Jack Kenna was at the game and catches us up on how the Jayhawks opened their season. Jack?
That's right, Emily. The Jayhawks were back in Allen Fieldhouse to open up their season against Green Bay. And for the 6th consecutive year, Kansas started its campaign 1-0.
The excitement was buzzing for preseason Big 12 Freshman of the Year and projected top 3 draft pick Darren Peterson. The crowd was full and awaiting to see his Fieldhouse debut, and he did not disappoint. Peterson finished the night with 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in just 21 minutes of play. And Kansas fans weren't the only ones impressed.
Yeah, well, he makes the game look easy. It's not that easy.
It felt like he didn't break a sweat. The term that a lot of coaches use is his sneakers squeak different.
Kansas shot out to an early 25-8 lead and never looked back. And big thanks to the dynamic duo of Peterson and sophomore Flory Badunga. Last second shot to beat the buzzer sent the Jayhawks into half with a 48-27 lead and put Kansas into cruise control. The second half was much of the same. Kansas outscored Green Bay 46-24 and marched out of Allen Fieldhouse with a 94-51 victory. Kansas dominated on the defensive end, forcing 8 turnovers, blocking 8 shots, and out-rebounding the Phoenix by 18. And while it is only game 1, Bill Self liked what he saw on the defensive end.
I thought it was pretty good early. I don't think it was a good second half. I thought the first half was pretty good. But all in all, better than what it was, I think, in the first 2 games.
If there was any sort of negative outlook on this game, it would be the cramping concerns of the freshman phenom. Like the previous Louisville and Fort Hays State exhibition games, cramps have limited Peterson's ability to be on the floor. Concerns that don't seem to worry Coach Self all too much. With Peterson shining early and Badunga taking the next step, Kansas looks every bit the contender many expected. If night 1 is any indication, the Jayhawks might have something special brewing in Lawrence.
It was a great team win by the Jayhawks, but as Ulicia mentioned, Game 2 will prove to be a much bigger test when Kansas takes on North Carolina tonight. Emily, what did you make of Kansas's dominating Game 1 performance?
Even though it's still early, Jack, I'm really liking what Bill Self and this team have in store, and I bet Emma would say the same. And it's not just Kansas hoops making noise this week. Kansas soccer is heading back to the Big 12 championship. Playmakers Kara Lyons has more on how the Jayhawks punched their ticket to the title match.
That's right, Emily. History has its eyes on Kansas soccer yet again, as this is the first time in program history they have had back-to-back Big 12 championship match appearances. The Jayhawks are just one game away from hoisting that trophy up high again. But let's take a quick second to recap the Big 12 Conference Tournament and how they ended up here. Kansas's first opponent was West Virginia in the quarterfinals. The Jayhawks dominated this game from the start. They went up by a goal in the first half and scored 3 goals in the second, which earned them the shutout win and an advance in the tournament. Coach Lee mentioned that while they ended their regular season on a loss, they were not going to continue that momentum as they head into this tournament play. The next team the Jayhawks had to face on Wednesday was the number 5 Colorado Buffs. Kansas owned the second half after being down a goal. Sage Wims got the tying goal to start the momentum shift. The new Jayhawk, Lydia Weitz, not only scored her first career goal, but it was also the goal that sealed the deal for Kansas and sent them on their merry way to the championship matchup. Now, what makes this victory even sweeter is the fact that the Jayhawks lost to this team to close out the regular season, and Kansas was not about to have that happen again. The Jayhawks play BYU tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Switching from one form of football to another, Jacob, what's the latest with KU football?
Thanks for that great soccer update, Kara. Best of luck to the team tomorrow. You all know we've been keeping a close eye on KU football this season, especially in our brand new booth. And the season got off to a pretty good start with 2 wins off the bat, but the Hawks have seen 4 losses so far. Some of those games probably should have been wins, but this leaves a lot of Kansas fans asking what's left for the Jayhawks this season. Lance Leipold only led this team to 2 bowl games in his time as head coach, winning the Rate Bowl in 2023. But will we see another bowl with this squad this year? But first, here's what you should expect from the team as they play out the rest of their conference schedule. The Jayhawks have 3 more games against Arizona and Iowa State on the road and Utah at home. KU is currently 9th in the Big 12, and Arizona and Iowa State sit at 11 and 12 in the conference. But Utah sits at 5th with a 7-2 record. And with Utah likely a playoff team, they will be a very tough matchup for KU. With the win against Arizona, the Hawks would be bowl eligible, and Coach Leipold had a few words to say about this upcoming game and possible 6th win.
Again, it's still going out and preparing to win a football game each and every week, and they know what a 6th win will do, and we've got to do everything we can to try to make that happen this weekend against a really good football team on the road.
Here's what we're looking at with weaknesses for the Jayhawks. They're giving up just way too many points on defense. For example, KU allows their opponents on average about 25 points a game. And where a team like Utah is only allowing around 14 points, Kansas has given up over 1,500 rushing yards this season, which is the 3rd worst in the conference. They need players like Bengali Kamara, Lyric Rouse, and Trey Lathan to make more stops because they're letting teams run the ball all over them. On offense, KU is faring more in the passing game than they are rushing. But with QB1 Jalen Daniels, there needs to be more energy on his end. He's competing like the average college quarterback with 66 completion rating, with his 3rd in the Big 12. And for our confidence, he's definitely doing what needs to be done. But in order to be successful, those consistent overthrows passes need to be fixed. I'll be watching the Jayhawks on Saturday in Arizona to see if the team can pull off that 6th win. Emily, give me your thoughts on this upcoming matchup, and are you nervous to see a bowl game out of this team?
You know, Jacob, I'm not really nervous. After that win against Oklahoma State, I feel the mojo back with the team. I think they have a great chance to pick up that 6th win and clinch a bowl game. Stay with us. We have the latest on the pro sports world right after this break.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness,
Tragic news from the professional world. Yesterday, it was released that the Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealon has died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was found Thursday morning in Frisco, Texas, following a police chase. Our thoughts are with the Cowboys organization during this difficult time. Over to the baseball world, Game 7 of the World Series delivered yet another thriller, and the LA Dodgers came out on top again. Playmakers Gabe Steigers and Charlie Marshall break down all the action.
The Dodgers just took home their second straight World Series in one of the wildest Game 7s you'll ever see.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Kirk bounces one up the middle, bends to the back, over to first to beat the champ. You gotta knock him out.
Gabe, let's touch them all and see just how they got there.
Down to their last 2 outs in the top of the ninth, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts let Miguel Rojas hit, and he absolutely delivered. He got a 3-2 breaking ball and staked his name in Dodgers history. The 36-year-old, who's made a career out of bringing clubhouse presence and sure-handed defense rather than offensive production, announced earlier this year that he'll retire after the 2026 season. But he can be sure baseball history will never forget his name.
With the game tied, Blake Snell loads the bases. And just when you think Toronto is going to pull this thing off, the Dodgers bring in starting pitcher, World Series MVP Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who induces a crucial force out at home plate. Baseball truly is a game of inches, and man, is Miguel Rojas all over this game or what?
Game of inches indeed, Charlie, as the very next batter, Ernie Clement, gives this one a ride to deep left field. Now, this should be Hernandez's ball, but he never really had a beat on it, and Andy Pages, who just entered the game this inning, as a defensive replacement, falls over the body of Hernandez to make the catch and keep the game tied.
And finally, with 2 outs in the top of the 11th inning, Will Smith steps up to the plate and decides he's had enough of this thing and sends a 2-0 hanger into the bullpen, silencing the crowd and sealing the Dodgers' victory. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, if you're gonna beat the champs, you gotta knock them out.
That's right, Charlie, and they did all they could in the bottom half, but Yamamoto sealed the deal with this ground ball double play and officially crowned the Dodgers as your 2025 World Series champions, the first repeat champions in over 2 decades. In fact, Charlie, I remember a couple guys that predicted that a few weeks back.
For Playmakers, I'm Charlie Marshall.
And I'm Gabriel Steigers.
Thanks, guys. Next, we are taking a closer look at the Lynx. Playmakers' Lauren Ritchie has a golf film breakdown from the best of the best.
Thanks, Emma. Today, I've picked out some golf shots, and we're going to talk through the golfer's club selection. Quick disclaimer, these are professionals, and well, let's just say, it's way easier said than done. So up first, we've got Scotty Scheffler right here, who's going to chip the ball from off the green. What he does as soon as he chips it is the ball is going to land right in front of the green. Now, the club he is using is a lofted club. All of these have different angles, so he's able to land the ball instead of it rolling out. And he read this green perfectly. Obviously, this is a professional golfer. He's got someone reading the green for him, and the hill is perfectly placed. It's just going to roll right into the green, but that lofted club allows it to go up with spin and land right in the front of the green like he did. Next, we've got another chip. This one is not a lofted club, so it's just like a putter. He's just going to go back and forth, and you'll see it's just going to roll right in just like a putt. But what he does, we're going to go back, is he's trying to land the ball right here. He's in the thicker of grass right there, so he's able to get the ball up and over that onto the green and roll right in. Another amazing chip by a professional. Now right here, Tiger Woods in the woods, no pun intended. And he is not going to play as smart of golf as someone would who's just trying to hit the ball out and not essentially gain another stroke. But whether he means to or not, he's going to do a half swing and then lose the ball or lose the club in the tree. But what he's able to do is keep the ball underneath the tree so that it doesn't hit the tree and come back to him. Again, a smart golf play, but you'll see right here when he goes through, he hits the ball and then stops his swing halfway through. Like I said, whether he meant to or not, it hits the tree, but what that does is it keeps the ball flight low for a perfect shot out of the woods. Tiger Woods doing all the things. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Emma, which one of these shots are you going to incorporate into your next round?
I'm not sure how Emma's getting out of that one, but I need to hit it out of the mulch like Tiger can. I happen to hit the trees a lot, but if my fairway shot looked like that, my golf game would be excellent. Sticking with sports and style, Playmakers' Jude Gussie is here to break down how sports uniforms are taking inspiration from the artists in the music industry.
And thanks, Emily. In today's sports atmosphere, the crossovers between music and sport have become an exciting draw for fans. A frequent display of this has been through uniforms and merchandise, so let's take a look at how the two art forms have collided over the years. Drake is a courtside staple at Scotiabank Arena for his Toronto Raptors. Beginning in 2015, the Raptors put out special edition OVO uniforms and courts in collaboration with Drake's popular brand, utilizing the recognizable gold and black color scheme. Although Drake is still a big supporter, the OVO uniforms have been shelved since the 23-24 season, but coming off the shelf for the first time in 7 years are the Minnesota Timberwolves Prince Edition uniforms, which fans have been begging for. Prince was a proud Minnesotan and an avid fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx, so the collaboration made perfect sense. The jerseys were first introduced in 2018, incorporating many aspects of Prince's brand, like the color purple, the paisley accents, and the Purple Rain font. But making its debut this year is the complimentary court, featuring Prince's unique love symbol gracing center court. The Grateful Dead have a unique connection to the University of Oregon, prompting Nike to create the one-of-a-kind Grateful Duck uniforms and label their October 25th matchup against Wisconsin a tie-dye out. The uniforms featured a merger of the Dead Steal Your Face logo and the Oregon Duck, along with tie-dye on the numbers and the back of the helmet. And not to be forgotten are a row of Oregon Ducks marching in the formation of the beloved Dancing Bears. Staying on the West Coast, Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam grew up in San Diego but moved to Seattle to join the band. And when Major League Baseball introduced interleague rivals in 1999, many struggled to find the connection between the two cities who would face off numerous times a year. Jokingly, fans began to refer to the series as the Vedder Cup, and in 2025, MLB made it official, and the Mariners became the first team to hoist the trophy, which is actually a functional guitar designed by Vedder himself, who happens to be a die-hard Cubs fan. In addition to those mentioned earlier, musicians Post Malone and Travis Scott have both displayed how sports are an avenue for them to give back to the communities that built them. Emily, what collab stood out to you?
I'm going with the Raptors Drake-inspired jerseys. Love Drake and the look. We'll be right back after the break with more here on Playmakers.
KU supports community, creativity, Kansas. The University of Kansas provides statewide medical outreach, first responder training, cybersecurity protection, childhood development support, and economic gains amounting to over $7 billion every year. Every day, Kansas Jayhawks serve the world by creating a better future. The world is safer, healthier, stronger because of what KU creates.
Yeah, I always just clap in this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part? It's the most complicated one.
It is. If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go. Just clapping now. No humps. Nailed it.
I practiced this morning.
Tomorrow is just two people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to do the end.
It's just.
I don't know the head.
That's great.
It's hard by yourself.
Welcome back. Now it's time to check in on the world of fantasy football. Playmakers Zach Newkirk, Trevor Burns, and Grant Shear are here with the latest updates.
That's exactly right, Emma. We are now deep into the heart of the fantasy football season. And for today's roundtable, we're going to be discussing some start and sit options for week 10 of fantasy football. So let's just get right into it. Grant, who is someone that you are sitting in your leagues this week?
Now, I don't know if you guys want to take advice from somebody who is 1-8 in their fantasy league, but my sit for this week is running back Alvin Kamara from the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he's an older back. The Saints are a dumpster fire of a team. I mean, honestly, the worst team in the league. And he is going to be a sit because he's just not good. He's not producing the same way he used to. That's my sit for this week.
You also got real deal Devin Neal over there.
Yeah, Grant, make sure to watch out for Devin Neal in that backfield. He's getting more touches. That's another reason to sit him. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and sit Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, stay with me here, Grant. But Brian Thomas Jr. has just not been able to get the same production that he did last year in his rookie season. And this week they're playing the Houston Texans, who have a great defense, one of the best against receivers. And Brian Thomas Jr. also questionable. So no matter what, I just want to avoid that Jacksonville receiving core this week, especially with the addition of Jacoby Myers this week. You just don't know what it's going to look like. So I am staying away from those Jacksonville receivers, especially BTJ. Over to you, Tyler. Who are you sitting this week?
I mean, we're talking about elite receivers and teams with a lot of mouths to feed. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers and Quentin Johnston. We got to sit Quentin Johnston this week. He's on a loaded Chargers team going against a good Pittsburgh defense. That Pittsburgh defense might be 32nd against wide receivers this season. However, they have a great pass rush, and the Chargers O-line has been depleted all season long. I expect it to be just like the Minnesota game, and Johnson got 0 points in that game, had some not even a single target that game. Look for the Chargers to not be looking Quentin Johnston's way. If you do want a Chargers player to start this week, you got to start Oronde Gadsden. He's going to be the security blanket for Herbert this week. When that pass rush gets in there, he's going to be looking to find him leaking out of the backfield. Oronde Gadsden is my start pick.
Yeah, so for my start pick, I'm going to go Jameson Williams, wide receiver of the Detroit Lions. Now, the offensive coordinator of the Lions literally said he felt like he failed Jameson Williams because they weren't getting him involved enough in the offense. And since he said that, Jameson Williams has literally had one game where he had a touchdown and 17 points. Williams has looked better, and they get a defense, the Washington defense, this year that's just not as good against pass. So I think Williams is going to have a big week this week. Back to you, Grant. Who are you starting this week?
Well, let me start it off right now. We are not listening to you about your fantasy football advice for that Brian Thomas take, but I'm starting DeAndre Swift this week, running back for the Chicago Bears. He was out last week with injury, and the Bears, if you guys didn't know, had an offensive shootout. So going against the worst run defense in the NFL, the New York Giants, DeAndre Swift is going to have an absolute amazing day in the backfield. He's their primary pass receiver out of the backfield as well. So I'm going to start DeAndre Swift.
I agree, and keep an eye out for Kyle Monangai, especially if DeAndre Swift doesn't play. That'll be another great start option. Well, that's all the time we have today for fantasy start and sits. But Emma, how's your fantasy team looking this year?
I bet Emma's team is thriving. I personally don't have a team, but if I did, I can't say it would be looking too hot. Staying on the topic of high-impact sports, Playmakers Ben Vasco breaks down one of the most intense and unusual competitions out there. Ben, what exactly is Power Slap?
Thank you, Emma. Now, if you have been on social media lately, you've probably seen clips like this. Dang. Or this.
Beat up looking as you can. Mouth watering.
Oh,
look at the
nasty.
blood fly.
Now, this is called Power Slap. And if you thought, what the heck is this? Then let me explain. Power Slap is basically a combat sport where two people take turns literally slapping each other. And yes, that is basically the entire idea. But hold up. There are some rules. And it's way more structured than it looks online. All right. So here's how it works. Two competitors stand on opposite sides of a small table. A coin toss decides who slaps first. Each round, one person is the striker and the other is the defender. The striker has to call out which hand they'll use and how many practice motions they'll take, 1, 2, or 3, before landing the real slap. Now, the defender cannot flinch or move out of position, and they've got to stand square feet in the box, chin lined up against the edge of the table, hands behind their back, and if they flinch, the striker gets to go again. Too many flinches and you're disqualified. A legal slap has to be with an open hand on the side of the face, not to the jaw or the ear. not the eye, and no cupping of the hand either. Both feet have to stay planted, and after the slap lands, the defender gets 60 seconds to recover. If they can't get back to prove that they're okay, the other person wins by knockout or technical knockout. Now, if they survive all rounds, 3 judges will score based on how clean the hits are and how well each person recovered. Now, it's not just the wild, wild west out there. There are some safety rules too. Everyone has to wear mouth guard, ear protection, no oils or lotions, and medical staff is on standby. Fighters also have to go through full physicals, blood tests, brain scans before competing. It's kind of wild, but it's legit with official referees, weight classes, scorecards, and even a no betting policy for the athletes. So next time you see a clip of someone getting absolutely rocked across the face, you'll know the name and the league. Power slap. Now, Emma Hale, I'm calling you out to a round of power slap.
All right, Ben, I'm going to have to think on that and get back to you. For now, let's see how the Playmakers team did in our rowing competition at the good old Ambler Rec Center.
The foot plates are proving to be very difficult for this team.
Patience down there.
Get up there. Get up there.
Welcome back to another episode of Mic'd Up. This time, Playmakers take a ride in my daily life of rowing. How are you guys feeling about this?
I mean, I think I'm going to do pretty good, so I'm excited to see how good I do.
I'm scared out of my head, but as long as I got Coach Kara with me, we'll be good.
All right, let's get to it.
It's going to be me, Jude Gusky, and Trevor Burns versus Lauren Ritchie, Grant Shearer, and Eli Greenwald. Let's get it.
Point of the game is just like Flappy Bird. You're the fish in the bottom corner. You want to push and use the foot plate to control how the fish moves, and you want to avoid the big fish and eat the little fish to gain points. Ready, row!
Wipe out.
Lucky we weren't.
Guys, I actual wipe out.
My shoes are stuck.
Come on.
Wait,
See, in a boat, we don't have this problem.
Oh my God. Guys, that's so embarrassing. Ooh.
That thing's got to drop.
Eli's clocking 270.
I got 3 seconds here, Jude.
Go, you better make the switch. You better make the switch.
Go. No, wait, watch the fish. Don't go into the big fish. Go.
Oh! Eli, what is going on, man?
20 seconds.
These two teams rode their little hearts out, and it all comes down to this. Our winner is the team with 870. Well, it was nice to have the Playmakers kind of try out what I do on a daily basis. And Emma, how do you think the Playmakers did at rowing?
That's all for this week's edition of Playmakers. Be sure to follow us on social media at PlaymakersKU to find all our content on the sports world as we see it. Stay tuned for KUJH on Thursdays and run it back on Monday afternoons and early Friday mornings for all the game results happening over the weekend. Playmakers will be back here live in the studio next Friday. And remember, it's not about the game you played, but the plays you made. Rock chalk, and we'll see you next time.